What's up, guys? Welcome back to the 1973 Honda CB500 Cafe Racer build. Woo! Chop chop, motherfucker. I got my Vermont license plate. I've got the bike registered now. Now all I have to do is transfer it to my home state of Pennsylvania. But I still have like 90 days or something to slap this on the bike and legally ride it around. That's what we're doing. We're riding the bike. Woo! There's a lot of little things I have to do before I can ride it. That's what this video is all about. Doing those things and then riding the bike. So let's start by mounting up my license plate. Just needs a slight bend. That's better. Here we have my new engine seal kit. I've got an oil leak, so this is going to be used to fix the oil leak before I take this bike on the first ride. I got all new controls and switches for the handlebars because the stock ones are basically shot. So here's the... See, you can see it just fell apart. Should fit in here, yeah. Fits. I'm just gonna have to paint this black. Now that I've got all the oxidation removed and the shine taken off of this lever, paint will actually stick to it now. A little paint thinner. Self-etching primer. Coat of black engine enamel. That's good for a first coat. I'm gonna let that dry and then hit it with one or two more. Some clear coat. Here we have the new right hand controls for the bike. The only problem is that this one is already set up for the outside of the handlebar wiring, and this one unfortunately is set up for integrated inside the handlebar wiring. So I think I'm going to have to cut a little opening here on the bottom, just like this one has. And no one will ever know that it didn't come like that. These are pretty much the only aftermarket reproduction handlebar controls that look like the old vintage Honda ones. I found these on eBay. They're about 30 bucks a piece. Seem like they're really well made, and let's get them on the bike. Before I put the handlebars back on, I think now would be a good time to finally put some oil in these forks. So let's pull the caps. These forks have some kind of aftermarket cartridge installed, which will actually help a lot with improving the front suspension, but the only problem is that I don't know how much fork oil to put in or what weight. Usually with cartridges you want a lighter fork oil, so I'm using only 5 weight fork oil, and I'm hoping that will be light enough to go through the holes and passageways in the cartridges. I have no idea how much to put in. It'd be pretty hard to get the fluid in there with the spring sticking out like that, so I'm going to pull it up a little bit like that. And now I've got the front end jacked up. Let's get some oil in there. It seems like the general consensus for fork oil in CB500s is about 150 milliliters per leg. Since I've got these weird cartridge forks, I'm going to start low at 140 and then see how it feels. I can always add some. Takes so long to dribble down in there. Alright, now I'm going to get some weight back on the front end. Get the caps back on. Thread them back in. Definitely feels stiffer than before. Rebounds really nice and quick. Feels like it might be a little bit soft, but we don't know till we ride the bike. Actually mount up the handlebars for good this time. Now it's time to install all my new handlebar controls. I'm going to start out with the throttle. It's definitely a little tricky to get this all back together, but there we go. I just got it. Now watch me like not be able to get it on the handlebars or something. I hope I didn't jinx myself there. Wow. That was tricky. There we go. Throttle's all hooked up. Now I can get the brake lever where it actually goes. Then I also have a brand new set of grips. I'm gonna have to drill a little hole in the handlebars. Gonna go ahead and get my grip on. That way I know where to drill the hole, right about there. Okay, I got a little dab of grease on that pin. And then if I install this right there, then that grease marks the spot. Yes! I have my freshly painted clutch lever and my clutch cable. That's it for the handlebar controls. In the last video where I upgraded the front brake line to stainless and put some new pads in, someone commented and told me that I put this brake caliper bracket on the wrong side of the fender. Apparently the fender is supposed to be on the other side of this bracket here, and that actually makes a lot of sense because it leaves more room for my brake line, which is kind of pinched in there. So I'm going to fix that real quick. Okay, all fixed. Thank you so much to the guy who commented and told me about that. The next thing to do is to fix this oil leak that I have. The bike's only been here for a day and that is how much oil has come out. I'm pretty sure it's coming out of the shift shaft seal. Obviously I'm not going to disassemble the whole engine to replace that. So what I'm going to do is remove the chain and sprocket, get that out of the way, and then I'm going to try to get these seals out from the outside of the engine. That's enough slack. There's a sprocket. It's a 17 tooth. Looks to be in pretty good condition still. Oh yeah, it's gotta be that shift shaft seal leaking. It's all oily all around it, and under it I see a little stream of oil. This clutch seal looks like the easiest one to get out. There's no rod in the middle. So let's see if I can just simply get it out with a screwdriver. Well, there's the clutch seal. Make sure it's clean. Gonna go ahead and get the new seal in before anything can get in there. I've got a socket that is about the same size as the seal. Tap that in with a mallet. This main seal is going to be a little bit trickier to get out. I've always heard of this method but never actually tried it. I'm going to try driving a screw into each side of the seal and then prying it out from the screw. Alright, screws in. Okay, both screws are in. Oh, that totally worked. I didn't even need the other screw. To install it, I'm going to use the old seal and the biggest socket that I have. I'll drive it in. And it's in. Oh, one left. I saved the best one for last. There we go. Got the seal out. This one you can almost just push in place. I use the old seal and a screwdriver. Yep, just pushed it right into place. Now I'm gonna wipe all that oil up and just monitor, see if any more oil comes out of there. I'll go ahead and reinstall the clutch rod. Feels nice and tight. So does the shift shaft. You could actually wiggle it inside the seal before, and now you can't. So that's a good way to tell if your seals are bad or not. Feels nice and tight now. It's been about 15 minutes and I still don't see any oil coming out of that seal, so I think I fixed the oil leak. Now it's time to get the chain back on, put the clutch outside plate case cover back on. Still no oil leak, so let's cover this whole situation up like it never even happened. Then the starter motor cover with my brand new seal. Then the shift lever. And the last thing to do is the dreaded wiring. There's a reason why I saved this one for last, guys. I do not like dealing with these bird's nests, but it's got to be done. I'm just going to go ahead and pull the headlight off, give myself some more room, and then start connecting everything. In order to do the wiring and specifically hook up the ignition wire, coil wire to the tachometer, I have to pull the gas tank off. So I'm going to do that first. So here's the blue wire coming from my points. This originally was going to my coils, but I'm going to have to cut off this connector from the coils that's just a single bullet female and swap it for the double bullet female so that I can then run an extra wire to my tachometer to give me my RPM reading. At the end, get some heat shrink on there and just solder that on. Then I'm just going to plug the coil wire back in. Now I found this random wire with the male on one end and female on the other. I'm going to plug in the male to this and then just run that up with the main harness. Get some tape over all this craziness here. And then I'll just go ahead and plug in the wire from the coils and the points right into my tachometer RPM signal wire, and there we go, we're all hooked up. Okay, now I'm gonna plug in the handlebar controls, starting with the left, which is turn signals, orange to orange. We've got an orange here. Oh, not the right connector though. It's supposed to just be a single solid male connector, not a double female connector. 10 minutes later and problem solved. I borrowed the connectors off the old turn signal switch, so now we can just plug and play. Orange obviously gets plugged into the orange connector, and then blue obviously goes into blue. Then we have green and gray and black, and the original controls don't have a black wire, so I'm wondering if this is just an extra ground wire. Really don't know, but I'm just gonna plug it into a ground wire and hope for the best. Then we have the gray and the green. And I think those are the two wires for the horn, pretty sure. And that's the incorrect connector. So gotta fix that. Alright, so that's all of the left-hand controls. Now we just have the right-hand controls. Hopefully I don't have to mess with these ones. We've got a yellow and red. Yellow and red, that matches up. Before I connect these, just a little trick. I like to squeeze the connector together just to make sure it holds the wire nice and tight. Then we've got two different black ones. A blue and a white. The blue and the white are for the headlight, I know that. Oh, we've got a black with white stripe. We can connect those. Oh, we've got the brake switch wires. I totally forgot about those. So those are going to be black, green with yellow stripe. Oh, there it is. Nice. And then just a black. I think that's just ground. Or no, that's usually power. All right. So the front brake switch is all hooked up. And it works. What about the horn? Ooh, we got it. Oh shit, that works too. I haven't heard this thing turn over in a while. Oh, we got turn signals too, but it's not flashing for some reason. I got two other black wires coming from the handlebar controls, so I'm just gonna plug those into this quadruple black connector from the bike. Then we just have the blue and the white for the headlight, and I think that's it. We've got a blue from the indicator lights for the high beam. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes with this bike and this rat's nest. I also made a little bracket to straighten out the tachometer so that it actually reads correctly and not crooked like before. And now I am all ready to get the headlight back. Well, hopefully shove this whole rat's nest inside the headlight and then mount the headlight and just finish this thing up so I can ride this bike. Let's get to it. Okay, I got everything shoved in there. Now we just have to mount the headlight back up. I'll admit that I can get a little crazy with the zip ties sometimes, but I got all the cables and wires cleaned up. Whew, got it. It's never easy to put on two fuel lines at the same time, but we got it. Whew. All right, before I get gas in this thing, I'm gonna take it outside just in case it leaks. I don't want my girlfriend going.
The whole house smells like gas. Oh my gosh.
Not gonna put too much gas in case we got a leak somewhere. That should be good. And knees. Alright, petcock on. Looks like I don't have enough in there for on. Let's go to reserve. Yep, she's flowing. Now we'll find out if the carburetor's leak or not. Oh, now it's pouring out. I was about to say it. Oh, it stopped. Turn the gas off now. Well, let's see if it'll start up. Choke is on. Almost. Pretty good. Still need the choke on. Well, that's it for this video, guys. I know it was just a very short ride, but